living a life where you're comparing yourself to somebody else sucks.
Mental. It's a mad idea, isn't it?
It's just devastating. And that's why I have so much cynicism towards the people that rent Lamborghinis to make it look like they own it, to then sell kids, because this is going to be a mental health issue. My number one fear, no question, is what's about to happen. I know that I'm going to have to go through a period of time where people are going to blame me for things that I had nothing to do with, because entrepreneurship at scale is going to fail during the next economy collapse. And a lot of people are not going to be able to deal with the following. Right now, on your Instagram account, it says you're an entrepreneur. You're manipulating your creative on your Instagram. So you're showing when you're at parties, or when you're with somebody cool, or you're taking the worst of the worst. You're taking $5,000 of cash out of the bank and taking a picture of you holding it all, or, normal cliche alpha male things, and females too, but and the world's gonna melt, and you're gonna have to go from being this successful entrepreneur on Instagram to going and getting a job. My fear is that there are a lot of people that are not gonna have the mental strength to walk around with that scarlet letter. When you're gonna have to go there, and you're gonna have to deal with that post, because you haven't posted for 4 months on Instagram because you're not showing your Lambo anymore, and the comments start streaming in like, yo bro, like just the last comment of you flossing, like, not flossing anymore, saw you working at the fucking bank this weekend. And I don't mean kind of, I'm substantially worried about this, because I think we're talking about a generation that was over-coddled by modern day parenting, who don't look at adversity as a good thing, they look at it as a bad thing. I saw a lot of you react. I'm telling you with my whole soul, go meet anybody who's known me for 40 years. I love losing. I love it. Fucking love it. I live for it. Here's why. Because I think I deserve it. If I play you one-on-one and you beat me, like what? I fucking love. Like, I love the merit of the game. That's why I love entrepreneurship. I like when my companies fail, or my strategies fail, or we lose a client. I love it. I mean it. I mean it. I mean it. I mean it. Literally, another text. This is what's so, by the way, this is the most intense part, back to what you said earlier about being an entrepreneur. If you're actually an entrepreneur, meaning like it's your company, all your day is a bunch of shit. You're the last line of defense. Along with the fucking context out of place that I have to deal with personally, I get another text that we lost a piece of business, $650,000 in revenue, and I knew we were gonna lose it. And I couldn't get around to fixing it. Because I'm the CEO, I got a lot of shit going on. And I loved it. Because I was like, I knew it. I couldn't get to it. I should have got to it. I did a bunch of other dumb shit. I'm doing this fucking stupid thing instead of it. If that's what I cared about, I'm being serious. I don't have to. Your actions are like manifest its reality. I think it's what I'm most worried about with these kids that are gonna fail and can't be fake entrepreneurs on Instagram anymore, is they weren't brought up in an environment where losing was good. They were brought in an environment where losing was bad. And that's something I want to change. I think we have to stop giving 7th place trophies. It's bad for kids. I told my son the other day, my son is all about sports now. I told him right to his beautiful little face the other day, I'm like, he said to me, Dad, how old am I going to be when I can dunk? I said, bro, you're never going to dunk. He said, why? I said, genetics.
But tennis is great.
And it might be, or he might buy a basketball team, but what's really fun, and this is now me going through it, right? Hypotheses are cute, execution's different. Listening to him 3 weeks later play with one of his friends, and he's telling his friend to take jump shots. Like, he's like, no, let's go out here and take shots. He goes, because we're never gonna, he put it on him too. That kid won't dunk either, but he goes, because we're never gonna dunk. And the kid goes, why? He goes, because my dad told me, and I just keep playing it over in my mind. Me being radically candorous with him is gonna help him. It's gonna help him be a human that can deal with adversity and things that don't come, like life. And it's gonna help him actually in something he's passionate about, because if he just stays on the outside, he could be a nice little, pickup basketball player if he doesn't play around the rim like every other idiot that never gets to dunk and actually works on a fucking jump shot. I don't know. This is something we need to bring back into society. Merit, accountability, We need to put these on pedestals, not over coddling fake environments. You know how many kids' startups are being funded by their parents, but nobody's saying shit? And then that same kid's shitting on their parents? I mean, there's so much fucked up shit going on. This is why I love the internet. It's exposing, it's getting hard to hide. And it's gonna get harder and harder and harder, and everybody's gonna hate it because everybody's living life because of shadows. But when you get to the other side of it, when we stop being hypocrites because we know that everybody sucks at shit and everybody's got shortcomings in 130 years, I'm so pissed I don't get to be around for that because that's gonna be fucking amazing. A friend of mine, Tom Bellew, on a podcast with me, looked me dead in the face, rocked me, because it's true. Very similar to how you pegged me with, EQ and work ethic. He rocked me. He goes, do you know what your superpower is? And I'm already pumped. I'm like, what? Like, what is it? I'm like, what is it? And, and usually in those moments, I think he's going to say something like work ethic and EQ would not surprise me. That I'm super understand. But he looked at me and goes, your superpower, and you have this more than anybody I've ever seen, your ability to not judge yourself is remarkable. And that's my answer. Every day, my ambition is insane. If I decide to sleep all 24 hours in the next 24 hours, I'm thrilled. It is the combination of those two. I love what I do, and if today, my ability, and this gets into a singular voice mentality, because I don't think most people are actually judging themselves either. I think they're taking the voices of others to allow themselves to be judged. People are like, Gary, I hear you, but what if they're like, I get it, don't listen to others, but what if your own voice, the one in your own head is telling you suck shit, or this, that, and the other thing? I'm like, you've taken on the voice of someone else. I really believe that. And for some reason, through self-esteem, serendipity, and many other things, I consciously in third grade decided to not try in school. Not because I was the normal third grader, because I definitely wasn't. It was because I was like, fuck, this has nothing to do with my life. And I'm gonna start working on my actual skill. And I'm willing to deal with the judgment of my teachers. Do you know how not fun it is to grow up your whole life and have all your friends' parents think you're a loser? Because the only framework in society at that time is your school grades. I think more kids have to learn how to be in a framework of adversity, because the alternative is why we have so much sadness, which is parents are creating fake environments, kids have no adversity, and everything's taken care of in one way or the other, whether through financial or delusion, and then they go into the real world, and mommy and daddy aren't around anymore, are they? I remember the 3 months that I debated with myself if I wanted a man to follow me around with a camera everywhere I went. As self-confident as I am, as much as I have my fingers in my ears, as much as I don't give a fuck of what you guys think, I'm also not tone deaf. I was like, holy shit, if I'm gonna start walking everywhere with a man with a camera on me, boy, is everyone gonna think I'm a narcissistic fuck, And so I had to think it through. And I'm giving you the answer to my question in story form. The biggest reason I actually finally took the plunge and said, fuck it, let's go, after D-Rock was kind of pitching in, kind of whatever, because we knew vlogging was happening, but it was all Casey and others first person, this was different, was because I remember thinking, you know what? I'm so happy that my great-great-grandkids are going to have this. I lost both my grandfathers before I got to know them. The thought that by chance, either one of them would have done a vlog for 4 years and I could watch, and I'm a big history will tell you the future. It would have just been so valuable. Every entrepreneur right now who's vlogging, who she or he thinks they're gonna make it like me, who don't have the talent or the things of that nature, or I don't think anything's ever oversaturated, because I don't think the world's about being first. I think the world's about being best. I really do. So that doesn't bother me if everyone's doing it. I think in 13 years from now, way more people are gonna be doing it. Way, way more. I think the fact that the booby prize of you documenting yourself for 7 years, that you didn't pop and you didn't become a public speaker or your company didn't get huge, but the booby prize is that your grandchildren are gonna have it, is one of the best things I think I've ever done in my life. I really believe that. I am so outlandishly grateful for how my mother raised me. It's so I'm writing a book in my head that I will write one day called Perfectly Parented. And it's gonna be from my perspective of what she and my dad, listen, I'll tell you this, I'm gonna share something also I don't share a lot, I'm in the zone right now. I was naturally more full of shit than I am. And it's probably why I'm such a good showman. It was my dad's insanity, that embellishment. Forget about lying. That embellishment was like fraud. My dad was so extreme Eastern European, like I remember one time he's like, how'd it go? I was like, we sold 39 cases. And then like 4 days later, he's like, we sold 38 cases. And like scared the fuck out of me. And I was like, okay, so I give my mom a lot of credit, because the great thing that happened to me is I didn't know my dad for the first 14 years of my life, because he worked every minute, and all his negativity and cynicism and stuff didn't affect me. So I had all that optimism. But then, I mean, this is back to gratitude, right when I needed it, because I was starting to form, right? 13, 14, I'm starting to really mold, and I was a salesman. I would say anything to you to get that sale. Anything. Santa Claus, fucking fucking anything. Going through the extremity of working with my dad every weekend, every holiday, every summer vacation, those 45-minute rides, his complete and utter disdain for embellishment, let alone lying, completely changed the course of my life. I think that's why I understand, sometimes when I have cynicism, like, oh, he's full of shit, I'm like, I wonder if they can sense what I was from 1 to 13 before my dad, like the gift of gab, in that when you have the ability to communicate the way I do, you often end up bad, because when you have that level of manipulation skill, you tend to, thank God the inside was good, which has allowed me to manifest this way. But you know what happens? This is why when I talk about, this is why I don't think I'm anything. I think I have nothing to do with me. When good things happen to me or people think I'm special, I'm like, ooh, my parents, that must be awesome feeling. Right? Because I understand that. When people say good things about VaynerMedia, I feel good. I've operated and built that, right? When people say good things about my kids, I will feel that. With me, it's like, that's Sasha and Tamara. That's communism and capitalism. That's America in the 80s. That's Jersey. That's my friends that I stumbled across along the way. But in truth, to answer your question directly, the most. She made it happen.